So officially welcome to the SUCCESSFIT team call. It is November 18th, and I can't believe that it is November 18th. Like, where did that year just kind of blow by us? But okay, we're going to cover tonight. I'm going to share my screen, and we are going to focus all about just getting organized. And I just thought the best thing I would do is literally just, like, I haven't planned mine, usually I like to plan it a quarter, and I haven't even planned December. So I think let's just plan. I'll just kind of walk you through, and I'm just going to literally do it as we go and kind of teach you how I do it. But before I do that, I do want to do just like some quick recognition. I saw that yawn, Trish. No, don't apologize. I would be the same. I'm just teasing. I just wanted to throw out some quick recognition on people who've already reached the 3 Lives Club, and Larissa, Trish, Erica, Bobby, Melissa, Jody, Nikki, who I have to say this is her first month hitting Success Club, which is really exciting. She's at SC8. That's awesome. Shelby, Aaron, and Carla. And then we've got some great volume leaders, Trish, Erica, and Melissa this week, which is great. And usually that means that you've reached higher than 400 or 500 volume for the week, which is a great starting point. And just some other recognition, top recruiters are this week are Carla and Tracy, who I believe is going Emerald tomorrow. So big shout out to Tracy for that. And we do have 8 new coaches in SUCCESSFIT this week, which is really exciting to see our growth. Quick announcements before we dive in. So if you haven't created your Master Hammer and Chisel launch event or started talking about it on your page, I really would encourage you to do that. I did create my event yesterday, and I tried to add as many coaches as I could. So if I didn't add you and you want to be added to follow along, let me know and I'll do that. But I think the best part about it is that it just starts to create a buzz around like, oh, what is this? And I feel like it started a lot of new conversations for me, even with people I haven't even really talked to in a long time. So I decided to create it on my personal page. I'll probably run an ad or do something on my business page later. But for now, I found that was actually enough. I know that now you can actually run events on your business page as well. But I haven't done that yet. I will down the road, but this seemed to work out just fine. So I would encourage you to create your event and just start some conversations going about what it is. And if you want some scripts around what I'm saying, just let me know and I'll send you my scripts because they're all in my snippets now. Okay. Just a reminder that as you're bringing on new coaches, the best way to point them is to the new coach pinned post. So in SUCCESSFIT, when you go, I know you can't typically see the pinned post on your mobile device unless you click pinned post. But if you go into the group on your computer, then you're going to see the new coaches, welcome, start here. It's such an important place. That's where we want to direct all the new coaches, welcome them to SUCCESSFIT, and have them start there, because that walks them through all the basic things that they need to know in order to get started right. Everything from the new coach launches in there, and it just really walks them through step by step. So you shouldn't, as a coach yourself, feel overwhelmed by starting a new coach and getting them going, because it's all there, very clear, step by step. And then just a reminder on the Diamond Retreat that, there's still lots of time to get there. So make sure that you're pushing. If it's something you really want, reach out to me so we can plan and I can help you get there. But the official cutoff is going to be January 14th. Okay, let's get into this because I'm ready to plan my next quarter. So why plan? I think it's really important. My whole first year as a coach, I just sort of flew by the seat of my pants. It was I started to have people who were maybe interested, and I just kind of made up a group on the spot and threw people in it. And it was kind of stressful because I never knew if I was going to hit Success Club, when I was going to hit Success Club. I never knew what I was going to be doing necessarily in my power hour. There's this whole, in your vital behaviors, they talk about invite, invite, invite. And I'm like, who am I supposed to invite? So I think that's all part of planning. I don't know if you've ever been in that situation, but I think it's such a great way to take control of your business and also to make sure that you're tracking your own progress to be duplicatable for your team. Hang on a second. Hi. Yeah. I'm in the middle of a call right now, sweetie.
Is that her daughter?
Yeah, that's her daughter. Okay. You got to go back to bed. All right. Mommy will tuck you in when I'm done my call. Okay.
How much is it?
I just tucked you in, sweetie. Off you go now, love. Okay. I'll be there in a few minutes.
Can I miss you?
No, go back to bed, please.
I just want to.
Sorry. Mommy land.
Very patient, Rhea, very patient.
yes, that's because you're all here. Anyway, okay. So I think that like a big thing that it took me a long time to learn, and so I'm sorry for those of you who became coaches in the beginning with me, but it's so important to know what you're doing as a coach, to make it duplicatable for the people who are coming on your team, so that you can be like, this is what made me successful. Here you go. And now I'm really just starting to dig into that to make that easier for people as they come on. But that is your responsibility. And I would say is like, that's your opportunity, is to be clear on what you're doing and why you're doing it, so that you can just, when you encourage people to come on your team, you can be like, I can help you get success here, kind of thing, and make it really simple. So those are all real important reasons why I think you should plan. Okay, so getting into it. Here's how I start things. Like, obviously we all have goals. And in January, we will take a look at like our year-end goals and do like a leader roadmap to kind of work backwards from where our big goal is at the end of the year. But essentially, we all know that each month we're trying to hit Success Club by bringing in new challengers, and we're trying to add people to our team. So I know that no matter what, these are some of the things I want to plan. And so I'm going to leave it on here as I walk through and as I plan my month too. But each month, I start a challenge group prep week on the first Monday of every single month. And I do that on the first Monday of every single month because if prep week is starting that first Monday, I know that the Sunday before they're going to have to order, or they're going to have to order by that Monday. So all my Success Club points are going to be happening in that first week that I'm inviting to. So if my prep week is starting the first Monday of the month, then my challenge group is starting the second Monday of every month. So that is what I typically will go through, and I'll take a look, okay, in December. So December 7th is the first Monday of the month. So that's going to be when my challenge, I'm just going to write it in, like challenge group prep. And then on the 14th of December is when I'm going to say challenge group start. So I already know now that that's what I'm inviting to. That's the first thing. And I had thought about that as well when I took a look at inviting for Hammer and Chisel. That's actually when I'm going to start Hammer and Chisel. Now, I know December is a different month with the holidays, so you might be choosing to do it differently. But I'm just going to literally go and like look at January right now and say, okay, the first Monday is January 4th. So again, this works out perfect. Everyone's going to have to order on January 3rd, which means I'm going to hit Success Club at the beginning of the month. That's always what I'm working towards inviting, is hitting Success Club in the first half of the month. So I know that January 4th is my challenge group prep. And January 11th is my challenge group start. And I'll just move that to February and March. Okay, so February gets a little tricky because the first Monday is actually the first. So technically people would be ordering on the Sunday. So I might take a look at the month and decide, okay, I'm actually going to start my challenge group on the 15th that month. Because again, the whole focus in running this challenge group is to hit Success Club in that first week, right? And get it kind of off your plate and start taking that pressure off. So challenge group prep. Okay. And then in March, it would be the same. So challenge group prep is going to be March 7th. And my challenge group start is March 14th. Okay. Now something to think about in there, like now that I know that, and I'll go right back to December here. So now that I'm looking at December and I'm saying, okay, I need everyone to be ordering for my challenge group, or I'm inviting for December 14th. So they need to order on the 6th. So when am I going to start talking about that challenge group? When am I going to start posting about that challenge group out to my community? And when am I going to start sending out messages to invite people to that challenge group? And for me, that's always 2 weeks before I start, before prep week starts, because I need a week to really start talking about it and inviting people. And then in a week to have conversations that take them through the invitation process. So when I look and I think, okay, December 7th is when my next challenge group is, then I'm going to go back 2 weeks to November 23rd. And I know that next week, now I started this week with the launch is going to be a little bit different because we have that launch coming, but typically I would start inviting for that and talking about it next week on Monday. So I'd make a reverting back, and I would say November 23rd is when I'm going to create a post. And I'd make a note of my calendar, post about challenge group. So I know that like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday is when I'm going to be advertising for my challenge group. And I'm going to go and again, like do the same for every single month. So my January challenge group is going to start, the prep week starts the 4th. So I'm going to go back 2 weeks into December, and I will make a post for my challenge group on the 21st. And same thing with February. Is this what you guys thought this was going to be? Me actually just writing down my calendar, because that's what I had planned for this to be. And is this making sense? Does anyone want to unmute and make sure that tell me that this is making sense to you? I'm just kind of making these decisions and backing up.
It's making sense to me.
Okay. Thanks, Jody.
It's very helpful.
It's sort of an active working visit here.
Well, and all this structure, it really does take away all the waffling that we might do about when and what and who and what should I say. And like, I have a hard time implementing structure for myself. So learning how other people do it is very helpful.
It took me a while to kind of find my way, I think. So this has been, this is helpful for me. And then it just becomes a really easy thing. I'm not always wondering like when my next challenge group is. Okay. All right. So I'm going to let you finish marking those down, and I'm just going to put Tessa back to bed here for a second. Excuse me.
Why is everybody else child? No, one child is
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so just to clarify, so my challenge group prep week is starting the first Monday of every month. The actual start is really technically starting the second Monday of every month. And, to make it really clear, so I start advertising 3 weeks before my challenge group start, not the prep. So the start. And that's when I'm marking down on my calendar. Okay, and so then the next thing I mark down is when my free group is going to start. And I think it's important to be strategic around this, because I don't want my free group to be advertising when I'm still trying to hit Success Club, when I'm still trying to close into my challenge group, because then some people are going to be like, oh, well, I'll just skip this and do the free group this month. It's like, no, that's not how this is going to work. So, I know the third Monday of every month is when I start my free group. So in December, that is going to be December 21st. Now, again, this, like, it's a bit tricky with December. This, like, I might not run a free group in December, or I might do something like right after, because it's such a major holiday. But I'm going to go through it this way, because that's I think that's the easiest way for me to do that. And so I'm writing in my free group on the 21st or on the third Monday, which means a week before I'm creating a post about my free group. So I just like to make these notes in here so that I know on like Monday, the 14th of December, I'm going to be creating a post about my free group. And then I'll know who I'm going to be talking to that week. I'm going to be talking to the people who are interested in my free group. And then I'm going to be putting them in that free group, and then I'm focusing on my free group. And like that, I'm trying to keep it so I'm only really needing to focus on one new thing at a time, and it's not too much. So I've got a free group starting. I'm going to advertise for it on the 14th or the 13th. Sundays are also a good time to advertise, sort of like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday are the days that I typically advertise for something. By advertise, I mean just post about it on social media. So I'm just going to pop those in real quick. So that's January 18th will be my free group. March 15th, which is really great because it's right after Valentine's Day. Everyone's definitely going to want to do that one. Okay. And then March 21st.
When do you guys have March break? When's March break for English schools?
I think it's the week of March 14th to 18th.
So you're going to start a challenge group the week of March break?
Yep. It's different for everyone. Now that's true. Like I look at this now, and as I get closer, I might say like, cause I'm going to be on the cruise then. So I might be like, okay, that's not smart. I'm going to be with no reception. So I might be like, okay, I'm going to do it the following week, but
Right.
I will plan it out like this. And then as I get closer, then I might shift it around a little. Yeah. But I think that is my week of, but that's not a bad week to start actually, because everyone will have purchased it. But I guess it depends on the people, right? Who wants to be in it or not. I think as a new coach, that might be a tough time to start. But I've had new challengers that are really happy to start when it's on a holiday because they feel like they have more time to think about it when it's on holiday time versus work time. So it really depends on the people. So I don't worry too much about those things.
Yeah, it depends on what they're doing, right?
Yeah. It also, depends on the program and everything. Okay. So then the next thing I always make sure is going to happen, and everyone needs to make sure is going to happen, is like some type of recruiting event. So for me, I've been really finding results in the sneak peek versus the webinar that I was doing. So I'm going to stick with my sneak peeks for probably the first quarter and see how those are doing before I change them out again. So I typically will start a sneak peek on the fourth Monday of every month. And that's kind of how I roll. So again, on the third month, so the week that my 7-day free cleaning group is starting, that's when I'm starting to advertise for my sneak peek and start talking about coaching and start inviting my challengers. So then I'm only having to invite for one thing at a time. Does that make sense? It also, and you'll see as I go into I actually theme my week in my days, like what I'm focusing on each day. And it really helps me to stay focused in a very similar flow every week. And it just, I don't know, I just find consistency to be very much more easy to follow. So again, when I look at December, so normally my sneak peek group would be starting December 28th. And that's actually still not a bad week because people are going to be home. They're going to be curious. They're probably not going to be wanting to go back to work. So it might be a good time for a sneak peek. Again, I don't worry about it. I think I'm all about if you build it, they will come. I'm just going to build it. If I only end up with 2 people in it, so what? Those 2 people deserve a good sneak peek. And if nobody shows up, then I don't have to run it. That's sort of how it goes. So December 28th, there'll be a sneak peek. January 25th will be a sneak peek. And I'm super old school and have an actual planner.
I was just going to ask you, Bria, as I'm writing down the weirdest arrangement of dates that makes no sense. So you're using an agenda and you're just writing in the days.
Yeah. This is my agenda. No, I have I do it. I've got an agenda that has the month laid out like this. So here's my month. So then I can highlight my major things, and then After the month, I have it laid out like I turn my month page. So I know I look at this week and I'm like, this is what I'm focused on this week. I know this week I'm focused on my sneak peek is kicking off on Monday because it's the 4th week. So my whole week this week has been focused around advertising for that. Again, the launch event kind of threw me for a little loop in there, but that's just how it goes. For the most part, that doesn't happen, right? We only have launches a couple times a year. So my focus this week has been on that. And so then I have these pages that kind of break it down by day. And I'm sure you can get this all digitally. I'm just like archaic like this. So, and I find I can look because I like to see it while I'm working on my computer. Like what is my to-do list? When do I have an appointment? Because I also have a life. So I've got, the kids have activities I need to see in there, like people have appointments. September was the first time my kids were in school. So before that I was full-time with kids. So we had other things going on. And it was the only way I could look at my day and know what is block scheduled, when am I working and when am I focused on family. And I know that might seem really intense, but I think if you want to be a hobby coach, that's okay. But if you really want to build this into a business, you have to look at it like a business. It's got to be this is when I'm focused on these hours. It's going to be a busy couple years, but I like to look at this and not that it's all about money, but I have goals. And when I realized, when people said to me a couple years ago, if you put your head down and you really focus on this for 2 years, and in 2 years you could be making a 6-figure salary all by staying at home, feeling really fit and good, helping people change their life. That was what I clung on to. It was that is worth it to me to get up early and to bust myself and to do things that I don't really want to do them for 2 years, because this is where I'm at now. And that's a huge growth in a 2-year span. It's just that people don't want to do those things consistently, right? That's the part that's so hard for them. And I understand that. It hasn't always been easy. There have been times where it's been quite challenging, but that's what I think. So I know that these things can be really mundane, but if you can master them and do them anyway, keep in mind that these are the things that the average person doesn't want to do. That's why they're not crazy successful. So if what you want is crazy success, then you kind of have to be a bit crazy about it, I think. And this is how I do it.
It also ensures that you keep your family time protected too,
well,
right?
Yes, I learned that very early on that was not going to fly very long if I kept going the way it was going. So,
yeah, because you can be consumed by it every second of the day if you're not organized, and that's what I do sometimes, and I'm not getting further ahead by drowning in it. Structure is good.
Yeah. And I would be stressed at the end of the month because I hadn't hit Success Club, or there was no organization there. So anyway, that's how I do my planner. It's okay, I have my month, I mark out all my main things so that when I go to my week, I'm automatic. I look at the week and the month and I'm what am I trying to accomplish this week? Okay, so the sneak peek starts on the 4th Monday of every month. And then I do have sort of a backup challenge group, which starts prep week the last Monday of the month, because every now and then you don't hit where you want to hit in that first week, or you just need to have that as a backup, because your hitting Success Club needs to be your non-negotiable. Nothing happens in your business if you don't hit Success Club. It's got to be the first thing that you focus on. So there needs to be a backup there. That was what worked for me, especially when I was trying to transition to hitting it in the first half of the month. I almost needed that backup occasionally. And it's also a great thing to do as you bring coaches on your team. Your backup can be the one that you co-coach with them. So you're just adding an extra person that's going to help you hit Success Club, but then you're also using it as a training opportunity to train with your team.
I found that people pop out in the middle of the month too, and maybe they don't want to wait until 3 weeks with their program. They want to get going. So I have added a few here and there.
Yeah.
But typically, Bria, you just do one a month.
Now.
Or do you? Okay.
Now I do, but it's a big one. So yeah. It used to be I always did 2. And now I just seem to be okay with the 1. But I have a second, this month I'm doing 2. It just kind of it's every few months I need to do 2 to catch up or something, or to hit my goal. This month I hadn't hit Success Club 10, and by that first Monday of the month. So it was I got to invite to something else. That's just what I had to do. Okay, something other I wanted to make a note, because this is what I do now, but like as a little extra, I run my like page ad. Like if you're going to be advertising, I run my like page ad on the first week of the month. I run it for pretty much the whole week, 4 to 7 days, depending. And I'll spend anywhere from $10 to $30. I did not do that in my first year. I'm just, it's not a requirement. It's just what's worked for me in order to get new eyes on my page. That's where I've kind of reallocated some of the income. As I started to get it, it was like, okay, I need to break into that cold market. And I did that by running an ad. And why I like it that first week of the month is because, that gives me some time to share content. And then it's like, bam, there's my third week free clean eating group that I'm advertising. So that's like, I get people's eyes on me, I'm sharing content, and then I offer something free right away. So then that starts to build that relationship. And that's the flow of that, if that helps a little bit. And then of course there's things that we need to incorporate in training, which is Coach Basics and Emerald to Diamond. Now, something I'll just throw it out there tonight. Like I want to refocus on really simplifying the training in our team so that it can be like a very simple document that we can direct our coaches to, and they can actually go through it on their own. But I will still plan to offer the groups for people who like a group environment. I just find that real go-getters tend to want to go and just go through it on their own. And the rest of the people don't really want to go through Coach Basics. So, and I understand that, but I want to offer it as something in case people like that group environment. So I haven't officially scheduled those. I will roll them out at the beginning of every month. I was thinking that the next one would probably be February 1st, because this one will be wrapping up then, and we'll probably won't be doing as much recruiting necessarily during the Christmas holidays. So we'll have a little lag time before we bring in new people. Yeah. Okay. So that's what happens each month. That's how I schedule each of my months. And then I kind of break it down. There's a couple things I make sure to schedule in my planner every week. So every week I make sure, obviously we've got a team call every week, Wednesday nights at 8:30 Eastern. There's a national wake up call I want to listen to. I never used to listen to it live. Now that the kids are in school, I probably listen to it live 3 out of 4 weeks. But it's important for me that I put that on my calendar, because otherwise I do forget about it. So I need to know that that's a priority. And then I also weekly make sure that there's team recognition. So whether it's the team, the top 5 coaches for the week, or whether it's the monthly recognition, or even just the rank recognition, I think that's an important thing to look at, and that everybody should be considering for their own team as their own team grows. So that's what I make sure happens every week. And then to break it down even further, I make it into themed days. So now I know, like, okay, what I'm inviting to, where my focus is every single week. So Monday and Tuesday are what I call my business building activity days. Every single day, Monday through Friday, I do my power hour first. And that's the last thing I'm going to share with you next, is specifically what I do in my power hour. But I always do my power hour first, because those are like, that is the crux of what we do. If you're not doing the activities in your power hour, your business won't move. You won't have people to invite. You won't have conversations going. So I always make that the first thing I do every day when I go to sit down and do my work hour, is my power hour. And then Monday and Tuesday, I'm doing business building activities. And what I mean by that is I'm looking at my week ahead and I'm thinking, okay, next week I have my free group starting, or my sneak peek starting. So it's Monday. I need to create an ad about my group to put it out to social media. I need to message anybody who has ever had any interest in being a coach, or anyone I'm thinking about being a coach. Basically, I'm focusing the Monday and Tuesday on output that is generating interest, reaching out to people in my network to invite them to this event. So I'm inviting those 2 days. Wednesday and Thursday, I do that power hour again. And then what I like to call it is like I'm managing flow. I'm just, because if you end up sending out like 60 messages, and I know that might seem like a lot right now, but the longer you do this, the more people you have to send messages out to. So that can start to take longer. So when I say managing flow, I'm just responding to messages, taking people through the invitation process, creating the group that I'm going to invite people to. And then Fridays, I do my power hour. And then, it's my opportunity to follow up with anyone that I talked to earlier in the week or the previous week. It's my opportunity to create recognition for the team. And it's my opportunity to work on projects if I have time. Again, it's like we all have minimal time. So it's trying to maximize the time that we have. The power hour has to happen. The rest of it is sort of that secondary, right? So when I say work on projects, like that was me trying to understand Streak with Larissa. And that was me. Right now it's trying to create a really concise training for our coaches to go through. Things like that are when I'm working on projects. Just trying to better understand things so that I can simplify them for you guys. And then Saturday and Sunday, I really, I know I do my vitals. So I'm working out, I'm drinking my Shakeology, I'm listening or reading to some personal development. I'll schedule my posts out for the day. I'll post to my groups and I'll respond to my emails. And that is all I do. I do not do a full power hour on Saturday and Sundays. I like to just get it done in the morning. I'm done by 6:30 a.m. and then I don't think about it. I'm focused on my family and my life for the rest of that day. That's what works for my schedule. Someone else might find that those are your best days to work depending on what your life is like. But I need to stay focused on my family during those times. Especially when we've got an evening call we're trying to do too. So it starts to take up some of your extra time. So this is literally, so what I do, it's today was Wednesday. So as soon as the kids got off to school, I did my power hour and then I was plowing through messages. It was for everyone I had talked to or responded to the event and the sneak peek that I had posted about. That was entirely what I did during my work hours today. And tomorrow will be pretty much the exact same, creating groups, managing flow, and trying to move people through that invitation process as quickly as possible. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to share is just my power hour. And I say it's a power hour plus because when I include the vital behaviors in there, it is not an hour. And I think everybody knows that. It can take a lot longer. So the first thing I do really, and I'll just break it down for you how I work because this is what's worked in my life. I wake up at 4:30, I work out, I take the dog out, I work out, and then from 5:30 to 6:30, I work. And in that hour, what I'm doing is posting and scheduling my posts for the rest of the day. So I'll schedule out my posts for 3 posts a day on my page. I will message people and I will respond to messages and I will post to my groups. And that's what I do sort of in that first 30 to 60 minutes after my workout. And then I focus on family. And when my kids were home, that was all I did. And then when it came to, I had an hour and a half of nap time. And this is what I did during nap time. I typically listened to my personal development, when I was driving somewhere or folding laundry, but I would engage with people who commented and liked on my page. I would add 3 people to my network. I would send connecting messages to 3 people. I say invite 3 to 6 with a question mark because I don't invite every single day. I prefer to invite during my themed days, when I'm inviting to something, if that makes sense. So I don't typically invite 3 to 6. I'll typically twice a month sit down and invite 30 or 50 or whatever. I'll always touch base with my challengers, touch base with some coaches in the team, try to add some value to SUCCESSFIT. If it's easier for you, obviously I'm recording this, but if you want to take a screenshot of this page, you might find that easier for you. I always post, of course, and check in with my groups. I respond to all messages. I think it's important to respond to messages within 24 to 36 hours. I email my leads that I get through Beachbody. I remind people about their Shakeology coming up if it's their first order. I mail out any samples. I review my calendar for the next week and I plan my day for the next day. And then now I update my streak as well. And this is what I do. And I make sure, these are the things that I make sure happen no matter what in my day. And it gets faster. The first little bit, it can take a little while. And sometimes I add and take away things, but I can do minus the workout, the PD, and sort of the initial posting to my challenge groups. I can do this in an hour and 15 minutes. Do you guys have any questions on how I plan or what I do, does that seem like something that's realistic or flow with your brain? Because I think that things have to flow for you in terms of how you plan.
When you say that you do your, like, schedule your 3 posts,
Mm-hmm.
do you already have that content sitting there ready?
Ideally, yes. I don't always. Typically what I do is, like, my workout post every morning is new because it's just right from my workout. Usually my midday post is either something like, so sometimes I won't schedule my midday post because usually it's something that I've done that day or I'm doing or cooking or an experience that I'm having. And if I don't have something, I will pull an old post and reshare it. And I think I encourage all of you to do the same. Like, no matter, depending on how long you've been a coach, but like several of you have been here for a while, you should just go back and reuse stuff you've used because people don't remember it. And even if they do, they like it. So just send it again. But I reuse posts quite frequently, a few times a week. But I try to post my morning and my evening. I try to get those scheduled in the morning so that I'm not thinking about them. So what I like to do is, if I'm like walking or doing personal development, or when I'm working out, if I have like things that are inspiring me, then I will just make a note on my phone in the notes section so that I can go back to that and remember what I was thinking and then try to craft my post from that. Larissa told me today about, what was it called? I think it was Google Keep, which is like a free Google Drive that you can just, if you just Google Keep, then you can actually like create content in there and save it and like save pictures and everything, so that when you don't know what to post, you just go there, pull off what you've inspired you before and throw it on your page.
Awesome.
Yeah, I know, all these things that I don't even know about.
She's turning into a tech guru. I love it.
No, she's super techie. I'm like, I don't offer you. I don't know anything. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. So that's what I do. And like, I think that, I just think it's an important thing to plan and know where you're going. If you really want this to be a business for you, because it takes a lot of pressure off of you when you can kind of get ahead and be working in that, what they call it, like more of like a B column. So you're not always redlining it to get into things. As soon as you can kind of get on top of things, and this is a great time of year to get on top of things, because ideally you take advantage of the event that's about to launch, the new program that's about to launch, hit Success Club early in the year, and then take some time to breathe with your family and be back with your family so that you can start sort of inviting for January and just take that slow and kind of get on that side of things so that you're hitting Success Club and running your groups in the first part of the month.
Awesome.
That's what I encourage you to do. Okay, so I just wanted to leave you with just one last thought, unless there's other questions, which we can open up after. But just remember that this whole thing grows as you grow. So like when I started, I only had like 7 hours a week to do things. So I did what I could in those 7 hours. You just have to make sure that they're the important activities, like the action business building activities. But something I heard on a call this week, and I shared it in SuccessFit, was that you have to dream bigger than your team, and because you set the pace. And even though we'll all have uplines that are there to dream bigger than us and set a pace and try to pave a path for us, you have to be that person for the people that you're bringing on under your team. And that's what's going to make them want to be a part of your team, is seeing that you're going somewhere and that you're taking it seriously and that you're dreaming and believing that this is something that is real. And that was what kept me going in the beginning, was seeing Emma, my coach, seeing her success and her path and all the people she was helping. And that is what kept me holding on, was seeing the belief in that, seeing her belief and seeing the reality in it. So just remember that your speed is the speed that people will follow in. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing in case there's other questions, but that is it.